This congregation has been here 100 years. You can look in the other room there and see a picture of the first church building with almost no houses around it. They had not yet been built yet. The mattress factory hadn't been built yet. This congregation was here before. Housing was built that was built, lived in, abandoned, decayed, torn down, and still the people of this congregation have continued to care about and work in the community. We're not called to simply look after those who are us, those who look like us, those who are like us, but we're called to all the children of the world.
We have historians, but I don't think we have an official, someone who's absolutely the historian. So, but we have a few of them. Luckily, I'm not one of them. I would go crazy because I have a tendency to get too involved once I get started. I'd be finding enough stuff to write a book, and all they're doing is they want a pamphlet. I'd have a book.
I spend more, I get, oh, here's one. That's the choir, that's different.
Oh, that's good, yes. There was some.
But you know what? We missed pictures of the building. That's what we fill in with the pictures of the building. You got to see what the building looked like at the very beginning.
That's what.
It's in the folder.
Oh, good. That's a good idea.
Missing.
Good idea.
This is where you want it. Is it straight? Probably isn't. Is it?
How many more? Are we going to put up many more?
No.
Or just do these?
Well, if we did that, we could.
A few years back, Pastor and I had a conference in his study. He was showing me some of his ideas for the future, which, wow, I was all for it. I wanted to work with him as much as possible.
The things in the box are things that we're going to be voting on the 26th. This is something, what I believe is not really new, but acknowledging it is new.
The responsibilities of the church council will not change any?
Well, they'll change somewhat. What we're talking about is bringing professional management structure and theories to the operation of what's going on here. That's exactly what we're talking about on the table here.
We decided it would be better if we would have a nonprofit corporation, so that it would be separate from the church, and we would be able to get more funding from governmental and other sources.
The vision for Resurrection Village, which we believe is God's vision, is God calling for the complete resurrection of the village to life. What does that look like? Well, that looks like people having enough food to eat, of a nutritional nature, of having decent housing, of having decent jobs, of having decent education, of having decent opportunities, of having adequate health care, of being able to look after themselves and feeling they look after each other. What I see as Resurrection Village continue to evolve and change and respond to the needs of the people, helping each other so that they can help themselves.
We had about 30 people last Thursday. We give out bread and pastry on Thursday also. And the food bank truck comes on every third Friday. So there's people that aren't, like if they lose their homes or they have to go and get, they get a little extra toiletries and whatnot. Pastor has this vision of calling the community Resurrection Village, and the sister churches, Lord of Life Church and a couple other churches, we're doing like the extreme home makeover, like a pay it forward type of thing, helping each other, health, spiritual growth, medical. They help me. It's a blessing to me because they helped me redo my pipes in the basement. I had a leaky pipe and I didn't have the money to do it. The two churches came together and paid for me to get my pipes done. So that's really, and I come to the food pantry. That's why I came to give back. I live in this community, so I wanted to give back too. We're supposed to. We're all supposed to.
The Jericho Road practice, that was the library.
Yeah.
And that was a part of this church, which is really...
Medical center, yeah.
Yeah, it's a medical center. And think of how things progressed. It was closed and not
Yeah,
being
he did,
used,
yeah.
and then it was
And
bought
then
by
Pastor
church.
Wigner started the medical center.
Yeah, and that's another-
Back in 98, 99, the city of Buffalo put in a lot of improvements, about at least $250,000 for ramp, elevator, roof, furnace, and a number of other things. And that program stayed in the building for just a little while longer, and then they moved it to Moselle Street. We asked, could we have the building? They said to us, get it appraised. Well, when we had an appraisal done, the appraisal came back at only $35,000 because of the neighborhood, and we were able to, shall we say, weasel the city down to $25,000 so that we could begin to move the program forward.
We had our 10th anniversary of the health center a month or two ago, but before that, there was a few people in the congregation that were burdened about the fact there's no health care for within a couple miles of this area. So they met and started forming plans for to start some kind of health clinic. And some of them actually went to Chicago to see how this clinic there was working.
So the more services that we offer here, the better it is to serve the community, because they know where to come. They know where to come for their NA meetings. They know where to come for health care. We're starting a couple of projects, the weight management program, the Poly project, the free gym. So what we're trying to do is just create an environment where right here is the hub for everything. You can go there and get the services, and if not, we know where to refer you. That's probably right down the street.
We found out very early on that even after we had given free examinations, when the doctor would give a prescription to a patient, there were some patients who couldn't even afford the prescription. They said, one guy said, if I could afford this prescription, I wouldn't be here at a free clinic. And that made us realize we had to go out and hustle money so that we could provide medicine. And we've had great cooperation from the Bailey Pharmacy, and we are able to use them on a steady basis so that people are able to get their prescriptions at a discount.
Well, when I first started here, I worked an 8-hour shift, and I was seeing 8 patients a day. And I was thinking, there has to be something wrong with this. Look at this community. I mean, there is a need, I know that, but maybe they just are not aware that this service is here. So my secretary and I, Yvette, we actually, every lunch break, and my nurse, Trina, we would go door to door, knocking on doors, with my little lab coat, my little stethoscope, introducing, I'm Takesha Leonard, I'm a nurse practitioner. This is what we do. These are the services that we offer. And at first, I was thinking, people are gonna hate me knocking on their doors, but I mean, it can't hurt. But it wasn't like that. They appreciated it. Wow, like she came out, she's not fearful, I'm not scared of the community, I'm not adverse to it, but I just wanna let you know this is where we are. If you need services for your children, I do that. If you need OB services, we do that there. And then all the other programs that are going on in the community, there just wasn't enough awareness, there wasn't enough advertising, and so therefore no one came. What they would do instead is they would get in the ambulance and go to ECMC for minor problems. I have a headache, I have a sore throat, things that I can see you for about 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, and treat you for and send you home very happy.
The program has served now thousands of people. We deal with everything from HIV testing, which is going on soon again, to physical, so a kid can play basketball or football.
So I was the medical director of Ragtime for the summer, and what it is it's a summer program. They focus a lot on health, but as well as like just spiritual connection.
We found out that the traditional Bible school that meets for 1 or 2 weeks in the mornings in the summer just wasn't working for families where either you had a single mom who was at work or you had both parents working. And so we went and were able to, again, hustle money through grants and through foundations and through the church, able to come up with a program where we provide 6 weeks of daycare from 9 to 3 and Vacation Bible School combined with field trips and all the other things you might expect that children love to do in the summer. This has now gone on for 36 years. And there are people that I have come in contact with who are bringing their children to Ragtime because they had a good time.
People talk about a food desert where it's hard to get food. This is a complete desert here. There are virtually no city services. Of course, they come and pick up the trash. They plow the snow eventually, but in terms of viable going concerns, in terms of an interest, we're on the edge of 3 councilmen's districts, and we're just far away from the center of attention.
You get so frustrated, so frustrated. So most days I come up here and I do that. I tell Pastor all the time, I said I kind of astral project myself because I'm amazed that it looks as well as it does. When you live here most of your life and you see things drastically change, you try to talk to people. You try, and it goes to vain. Then they think you're the popo and you're the squealer and stuff like that. You know, it's hard. It's very aggravating.
You just want change.
You just want change. I said you want something better. I remember I moved over here. It was beautiful. It was mixed races. It was polite people. It was hardworking people every day. Kids playing.
You know, some things you try don't work. Some things you try do work. You know, we tried a marching band one summer, and that proved, you know, to be just very temporary. We had a lot of drums and bugles going on, but we weren't able to sustain that. But we had then a basketball team for a number of years. A number of boys from the community were really helped by that and have gone on to be very successful in their lives. One of them, who is still active in the church, when I went to visit him on the birth of his first child, said to me, "Pastor, I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for the church." And I said, "Well, what does that mean?" And he said, "By providing a basketball team gave me a place to have recreation in a good environment and make good friends, and it pulled me off the street." He says, "So many of my friends that I grew up with wound up dead or on drugs, and I feel that Resurrection Church could save my life." Now that's about as big a testimonial as I can think of.
That we are supposed to help those in our neighborhood, whatever the needs are. So it has become spiritual, physical, mental, nutritional. We got this garden out here. It was a sign of hope. I've been privileged to help with the curb appeal by building the sign and the beds around the sign, and to work with the flower beds in front of the church. The one year I was so upset with a curb appeal. It was so dingy around here. I was ashamed of it. So I started digging, and I had to, each clump of dirt I had to pull those roots out. And I didn't know where it was going. I didn't have the money to buy flowers. But the guy across the street in the Triangle store came over and asked, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to plant some flowers." He said, "Come with me," and I followed him over to his store, and he handed me a $20 bill.
It started out as just a dry, dusty patch of dirt. It was dug up, it was, cared for, water provided on it, and then eventually it blossomed into this beautiful thing. Now the community can walk by and appreciate. You go there, there's no garbage in there, people don't toss their things in there, because, it's just one of the beautiful things in the community that shows that if you take time and effort and you really care for something, then this is what can happen. I think that speaks for the entire community and what we do here.
I picked this whole bag this morning. I picked just as much yesterday morning. They come right back. It makes you feel so good. The garden really has saved my life along with the pantry. Everybody falls on hard times, and I didn't know anything about gardening. I've always canned since I was 19, but now I know how to do it, and it helps you survive. It helps you maintain for the winter. I have everything I need put away for the winter. For dinner, I know who I can have to come over for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't have to go to the store, and as much as string beans and green beans and I think green peppers are $2.49 a pound now. They were free here at our ministry.
You look around and you see all these people, and they're like family. Just all the fun and fellowship and family feel. It's what makes this place so great. It really is.
No! Glasses ain't home.
There is glasses.
No! he had to go.
They went his car.
Yeah, birds took him away.
They went
I don't know. Some things you just don't know.